Welcome back to Collectible Conversations. We're your hosts, Radar and Squeaks, and boy, do we have a great episode for you today, jam-packed filled with all the news and happenings that have been going on in the Pokemon and collectible world over the last few weeks. And I know Radar over there has been itching to talk to you all about Special Delivery Charizard. So, Radar, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm a little biased. I didn't get it, so I hate it.
Same. We are the anti-Special Delivery Charizard podcast. Welcome, everybody. We're your hosts, Squeaks and Radar.
But yeah, man, it's been this week has been incredibly long with a lot of happening. So I'm excited to kind of go into all this stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of modern talk of what's going on. But yeah, man, Special Delivery Pikachu, Charizard. I didn't get one. I didn't get the email. I'm sad to see it.
I like that. Special Delivery Pikachu. It just rolls right off the tongue. We're just right back. Forget Bidoof. He was in the middle there. Nobody even remembers that. Like,
I don't. Why did that even happen? Like, where did that come from? It made zero sense that there was a Special Delivery Bidoof.
I think Pokemon is trying. See, now we're not even on Charizard anymore. I think Pokemon's trying to make Bidoof a mascot. Like, I literally do. During the 25th anniversary, did you ever get, this was when they did the first Special Delivery Pikachu, actually. This is how I got it. Mm-hmm. You had to buy stuff off the Pokemon Center, the same way you have to with Charizard now. Like, it was just a little different than how it worked. Then you just bought stuff and got one.
Right.
But one of the things I got was a t-shirt that was the 25th anniversary, and it was Bidoof's silhouette. See, if we pre-planned this, I would have wore it, and then I could just point to myself. See, I'm pointing to myself that there's no Bidoof here. But just imagine it. There's a little Bidoof silhouette, and then it has, like, in his cheeks, like the 2-5, like they do with Pikachu.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think they want to make Bidoof a mascot.
All right. Yeah, I mean, they definitely haven't pushed for that, I feel like. I mean, they pushed Jigglypuff, I feel like, Eevee, a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon to be other mascots. And I'm a biased Gen 1er, but that would be nice to see.
Sure.
To see them push some, new Gen Pokemon as a sidekick mascot, if you will. So
yeah, well, and we'll get into this when we talk about Worlds in a little bit, because there's a lot of news that came out of Worlds. But Bibarel which is the evolution of Bidoof, I believe that's how you pronounce it, was in the winning deck. So like, The winning deck was Flying Pikachu Beaver. Like, you could not have... Pokemon is over there just like, man, this worked out exactly according to plan. And, like, I mean, Charizard, like, had a decent showing, and Radiant Charizard... Yeah, we'll get into all that. But, like, anyways, everyone wants to know about Special Delivery Charizard. Obviously, we have not gotten it. We have not gotten a code. Give us your thoughts, your rundown. What do you think of this promotion? And did you get Bidoof? Did you get that one?
No, I did not get Bidoof.
I didn't get a Bidoof either.
Yeah.
So we're clearly not going to be very hyped on this.
We're down bad here. Yeah, but they did it right. I think we still have time, right? They said like 12 weeks or something we could receive an email.
So nobody knows. Like,
I sent off 2 requests.
That all the emails have went out that are going out. Then there's been other rumors that was just the deadline to, like,
I'd imagine
to, like, start sending them out. I don't know.
I'd imagine they do like a reprint of it to, like, especially move out a lot of their inventory of stuff and see how successful that was. And so, yeah, like they did it the right way to make it fair. I just wish
so.
Yeah,
I don't.
I would have loved to seen it just be like a completely random thing. Where it was just on the website one day and you could order whatever you want and get as many as you want with how many orders you did. But yeah, I think this was right. And
okay, let me counter you. Let me give you my thought process, and you tell me if this doesn't sound like Pokemon. Get ready. This is big brain. This is okay.
Well, they listened to us about Worlds 2023.
Yeah, did they? I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure they didn't just decide that. Oh, man, Radar said that. That's a great idea. We've never thought of that. Okay. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll get into it in a little bit. But Radar would like to believe that we have influenced the whole future direction of Pokemon. But no, here's my thought process. Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know how competitive Pokemon works, I'm going to make it real simple. You sign up on for play Pokemon, and you get a what's called a Pop ID. It's your like your little identification thing. If you've been in Magic, it's like a DCI number. Generally people get numbers when they sign up for like competitive event things. So Pokemon has theirs. It's called a Pop ID. You're only allowed to have one of those. The main reason for this being is so that they can track your points, they can track your penalties, anything like that. If you ever get banned, they can track through all of those things through your whole history of participation in organized Pokemon. So you're only allowed to have one. And to me, I think it would make sense for two reasons to do it that way. That your organized play number and the email associated with it gets sent a code. The first is that you can guarantee people are only getting one. And if people mass sign up, then it's really easy to track. That they could ban it. The alternative to that is also, one, you could there's ways you could filter out making sure that it's getting put in the hands of players or people that are actively participating in your hobby. But two, you're getting people to go sign up for an organized play account, get a Pop ID, get all of that, which is putting some spotlight on this whole section of the community that has relatively doesn't get the marketing and publicity that it should. And as we've seen from this year's Worlds numbers and Twitch and YouTube and stuff, it's really starting to gain traction. I mean, there were more people that watched the TCG this year than I've ever seen before, and it wasn't even close. Wow. And so I think that that's a way to kind of two birds, one stone, right? You're getting great marketing for your organized play. You're getting great marketing for this promotion, because right now I hear what you're saying, that it feels this was the fair way to do it, but it wasn't. I mean, I've seen people with hundreds of those Charizards that they just used a bot, set up dummy emails, and then had the bot filter through the ones that got the codes, and then went and bought hundreds of them. And if it is a limited thing, we're only giving away 2,500 of these or whatever, and I know that there's always going to be scalpers, there's always going to be flippers. I come from the video game console world where I'm trying to compete for PS5s. Trust me, I get it. But to me, the organized play Pop ID one actually, I'm sure there's pitfalls to that too, but I'm sure there's ways.
I think that limits it. I think that it's not a card being marketed to the players. It's not a card being marketed for that
anyone
reason.
Can sign up for a Pop ID.
Right. And maybe inflating those numbers is something they don't want to do just for this card,
That's true.
So I don't particularly agree with the marketing decision behind that, but I understand the way to avoid bots would be a much smarter move for sure.
There's got to be some way, and I know we say this every time there's a release or it all gets gobbled up by scalpers. There's got to be some way.
I just got to get a bot at this point. I've never done it. I don't know how to do it. I know it's easy.
Brother, the downvotes are rolling. And I don't think you do. I signed up once. I said I'll take go on the merry-go-round. I either get it or I don't. But I would rather go once, not get it. And because the reality is I would have just sold it anyways. I'm going to keep it a buck. I would have just sold it anyways. So Charizard to me is just not the end all be all Pokemon. It's not my favorite. Now, if that would have been a special delivery Jolteon and Pikachu was right on Jolteon's back or something, I would have kept it. But for me, I would have just sold it. So I signed up once. I did what I was entitled to do by the promotion and gave everyone else their chance. I saw the people that are getting hundreds of them. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about. Those people that are getting tons. And we've seen a lot of emails go out. I would say more than half of the people that signed up have gotten an email at this point. And I don't know if the rest will. But the prices are plummeting. I mean, Special Delivery Charizard is the cheapest of the three now, I believe. I believe Pikachu and Bidoof are still over 100. Charizard's below 100 and seemingly trending downwards for raw ones. Now, the graded ones, until mass people get them back, it doesn't matter. But do you think that card, what do you think about that card long term? Do you actually think it's going to do anything?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think about the Daniel Arsham Charizard card that he released, and compared to all the other things, and I think that's one of the worst performing ones for a long time, because it's Charizard, so all the stonkers came out to buy him and put him online, and the availability is large. It's just there.
When you say the Daniel Arsham Charizard, are you talking about the statue thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So literally anything you put Charizard's name on, it's going to draw out a whole different crowd of people to buy it, and for that reason to resell it. When you get something more unique, like a Mew or a Bidoof, more people are going to just buy one of those and hold on to it, like, because they just throw it in their binder, add it to the collection, whatever. They're not going to be like, oh, Bidoof is going to make me a bunch of money, but Charizard is just money signs. So knowing Charizard, it's always going to be a nice card. It's going to stay in a very consistent growth or loss pattern. It's you can't go wrong with it. I mean, what's it selling for right now? Do you have an idea? Like, it's under
Last I
200?
saw, because people were trying to like dump the code separately without having to buy the stuff online. They're like, "Oh, 75 bucks a code, whatever." Like, dude, it's
Is that,
ridiculous. But
yeah.
I'm pretty confident they're below 100 bucks now.
Oh,
And
really?
for anyone watching
Okay.
this, we're only filming this the day before, so I'm pretty confident that they're below 100 bucks.
Yeah.
So
And what, it costs you
I think they're
$25
going
to
to
get
keep
one?
trending down.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think
You have to spend $25 to get one.
25 bucks to get one
Yeah.
too. So like if you're buying a code for 75 and spending 25 bucks to get, like, sure, you get 25 bucks in product, but is that stuff you would have bought anyways? Is it stuff you really want?
Yeah.
You're at 100 bucks there already, and you just got your card plus, so like, and if they keep going down, then obviously, you're sunk in your 25. And I think that's the key, right? If I had to fix this promotion in any way, it would be to put enough of them out there that there's just no way, because of the volume, that the card could stay above 25 bucks, right? Then
Yeah.
it's whoever wants the card is going for the card and buying other stuff on the Pokemon Center because they want that stuff too, not I'm going to buy this stuff just so I can get a card worth more money and sell it. Now, does that contradict Pokemon's goal with this, which might be to take all this product we've overprinted and get rid of our backlog? Maybe, right? Because otherwise, why wouldn't you do this during like the holiday season instead of right
Right.
now? But a lot of that stuff will probably sell during the holiday anyway, so they just didn't want to like have too many orders. I don't know, but to me, I think they've recognized they can use these promos to funnel out that inventory and get rid of it, right? I still have 2 Pikachu ornaments that, like, there's no shot in the world I would have ever bought those things. They're not even open. I don't even have a Christmas tree, like, to hang them up if I didn't want the special delivery Pikachu. So, so yeah, hey, I'm getting a Christmas tree this year. I'll hang them up. I'll hang both up, even though they're the same. I'll put them both on the tree. But like that's the thing to me. It's like I would like to see them put enough into circulation that it just crushes that price point down to where it makes it the people that can get them want them, whatever. But there's not like this mad grab race for them.
Yeah.
And right now there isn't really like a mad grab race in the sense of like getting the codes, because like it's just if you get the email, but it does create bad actors, things like that and stuff. And people are going to pay 25 bucks for something that's worth 20 to flip it. Like, it's just
and it's great to get an English promo. So that's unique, and I just that fact, being under $100, Charizard English promo, that sounds great. Like,
do you think they'll ever put these in Japanese or other languages?
No, I don't. I think they just looking at how they do it with all their Japanese releases, they don't put those in English. I think.
Well, but that's always been that way, right? Like Japan always gets like the cool stuff, and the rest of the world just gets whatever, right?
Yeah,
or at least the West.
So maybe Pokemon's just like, hey, let's give this to the rest of the world, and
I think that would
it'll
be
be like
cool.
awesome. You can trade this to your friends in Japan when you come to Worlds next year. Like, maybe that's
well, and we see that kind of over the years, like Elite Trainer box sleeves, playmats from regionals, stuff like that. That those don't get released in Japan or don't get released in the East, to where those are a hot like for us, you can't even move that kind of stuff here because there's so much of it. But for them over there, like those were always hot commodities at Worlds. So a lot of people would trade like the English merchandise for the Japanese merchandise. So I think that would be cool with the promos. And I think that's been a criticism that Pokemon's probably heard a lot over the years, is like, man, we don't really get any of these cool, unique promos and things like that. I guess I was just always a little nervous because, obviously Charizard's really popular. Obviously Pikachu's popular. I don't know about Bidoof in Japan, but I do know Bidoof over here is popular. But with the Pikachu release at first, Special Delivery Pikachu, or like the Delivery Pikachu, was always kind of just like, not just the American Pokemon Center mascot, but like I'm pretty sure they had him in Japan too for promotions. And so that was kind of what made me think like, oh, okay, they're going to do this. You know,
there's probably a plushie out there.
Yeah. But then they haven't done it at all. And the Bidoof was the one that kind of made me think like, man, this could become like an English thing, or like a Western thing, not just English, but like a Western thing. And it could, not just that, but like this may just be the start of special delivery, right? Like then there could be another one in the future. There could be, maybe they're going to promote the starters with, you know, special delivery. I can't even remember their names. I just remember the little Donald Trump duck, which I know everyone's mad. I said it. Look, I said it. Okay. It's the Donald Trump duck. And the best one's the little pig crocodile apple looking guy. I don't know. I can't remember his name either.
Imagine
I'm
something
bad
like
with names. I'm learning them. I'm not a Gen 1 or like Radar. Don't pin this on me.
That's
Chat,
how we talk about Pokemon. Like, what kind of Pokemon podcast is this? The alligator looking
when
Donald
Scarlet
Trump.
and Violet comes out, I will know the names of these. Okay? I have to catch them. I have to play with them in the game, and I will learn them as I go. Okay? It took me a long time to remember Colossal. Okay, and Dreadnought, but I got them down now. Clobbopus and Grappalot. See, I like Clobbopus, but I would never evolve him, so I never remember Grappalot. But see, anyways, my point is, I'll learn it. But this could be the start. This could be, they could do that. They could do more of those. So, like, I think it's an interesting line. Now that we have 3 of them, will they do a 4th? If they do a 4th, sky's the limit on these bad boys.
Are they giving out the McDonald's promos in the other countries? Like, is Japan McDonald's?
I don't think they've ever done those in other countries.
That's interesting.
Which, by the way, right now there is so kind of, you know, moving over, there is a McDonald's promotion going on right now, which nobody seems to care about it at all.
People are
because
still
there's
stuck
no
with
money to be made in it.
cases and cases.
You just go on eBay and buy the packs for like $4, which is like the cost of a Happy Meal. So, but no, I don't think they have ever given, because we've had McDonald's promos since like 2010.
No, we had it. We had it like last year. People were buying.
No. I'm saying like we have had that like every year since. Like there's been McDonald's promos almost every single year for many years.
Yeah, and the Japanese ones from
ever gotten them.
Like the E series Japanese McDonald's promos are crazy expensive and cool.
Yeah, but I think part of that's that. I don't think they. Well, one, theirs were much different than ours, way cooler. Yeah. But 2, they don't get them that often. So I think that's kind of why theirs have such a big discrepancy. But the problem with ours is they're just such low effort. I mean, you're talking. Hey guys, what Pikachu have we printed in the last 6 months? And give me 10 other Pokemon. Just pull them out of a hat. I don't care. We'll give them graffiti hollow background. Oh, you got a get Scraggy in there. Who cares?
No McDonald's logo, no nothing. Just a piece of paper wrapping up the cards.
You literally have to know that they're McDonald's promos by the set number is going to be out of 12.
Yeah.
And then they have some weird logo that you can't identify. And then they generally have like a graffiti hollow pattern or something that you're like, man, that's probably a McDonald's promo. So then you go Google it. Sure enough, it's a McDonald's. Like they can't even put the little and the golden arches on there. Come on, like
it's either fake or it's a McDonald's promo.
Yeah, or it's McDonald's promo. Yeah,
I went to McDonald's the first day of it, not even knowing that it was being released. And I saw it on the menu and I got one and then pulled the Pikachu and said, "Oh, great," and then moved on with my day. So it was
okay. I have a McDonald's story for you.
Yeah,
about this promotion.
Okay.
It was like 3 a.m. My wife and I were both awake for some reason. We wanted McDonald's, and I was like, "Hey, let's go get McDonald's." You know, like we wanted breakfast. And I was like, "Hey, let's go get McDonald's. We'll get some breakfast." But they also, because they serve that 24 hours a day now. But then I was like, "Man, we could also get some French fries and maybe get one of those Pokemon packs." You know, I was like, okay, this is fun. Let's go do it. We pull through the drive-thru. First one, 24-hour McDonald's. Nobody's answering that speaker. Nobody. And then you could see people in there, but no one. We're just like sitting there like, hey, is anyone there? Drive-thru. Leave. Go to the next one. Same thing. No one. All right. So I'm like,
That's
okay,
odd.
There's one more within 5 minutes of us. Let's go to it. And this was the thing that got me, man. We go to that one and you pull in the drive-thru. And it's like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. Welcome to McDonald's. Would you like to try a chicken sandwich today or some crap like that? And my wife's like, no, we don't want to. We'd like to order, and starts ordering. Nothing. Dead silence. I'm like, what is happening? So I was like, okay, just pull around. Maybe their speaker's broken or something. We'll go to the other one. Like, because they have like the drive-thru where there's two speakers.
The two, yeah.
Yeah. So we pull into the other one. Same woman, same phrase, word for word. It's a recording. No one's answering it to McDonald's. Finally, I was like, let's just go to the gas station and get snacks and go home. I'm over this. I don't want, I didn't even order. I have got no McDonald's cards. I'm over it. Promotion sucks. Special Delivery Charizard sucks. Pokemon sucks. The hobby's ending. It's over. I couldn't believe that. They use recordings to initiate the discussion. McDonald's is down bad, man. I see why they can't put the golden arches on the cards, dude. They can't afford it.
Dude, I'm so hungry. We can't talk about food anymore. I know you got Subway on the way.
But that's my story. I did not get any McDonald's promotion cards either.
Yeah, the McDonald's promotions don't deserve much talking about anyway. So we'll go back to Charizard real quick because another big release with that is the announcement of the UPC, the Charizard UPC Ultimate Premium Collection with what looked like 3 alternate art type Charizards. Obviously, it's a banger, right? But
right, is it?
Right.
I'm not sure. Financial.
No, they looked. Yeah, should I buy these? But yeah, it looks amazing. I've never owned a UPC in my life. I've never opened one.
You didn't get any of the first ones?
No. But all I care about are the cards. So I'm gonna, for this one specifically, I'm just going to keep an eye out on the prices of the cards and pick up as many as I can, really periodically. I think. What else comes in those things? Coins and packs and
so cool this one's a little different, just in the fact that the last one was metal cards. These are not. These are just alternate regular cards. So part of that leads me to think 2 things. The first one is that was a special thing. They only did it 25th anniversary. They're like, hey, we'll do this cool thing. We see metal cards are popular on Etsy. People are stealing our market share. Let's crush them. Like that to me is like Pokemon's logic. But they also had a lot of problems with those in terms of like minor chipping and minor things like that. And while I'm not sure they entirely care about that, because cards being mint versus near mint is probably like not their MO, but I think that it's far easier to mass produce these boxes if you're just printing sheets of these cards and cutting them up. Whereas I assume the metal cards was a completely different production process, might not have even been, within the States. I don't know where they were produced, but that's a big deal. And so to me, the first big indicator is just by going to alternate art cards, they may have a much easier time producing a much higher volume of these. Whereas the UPCs, because they had to continue to include those metal cards, they may not have just had the option, even if they wanted to. Which, for future reference, everyone, that's why a product like that does something unique that maybe isn't extremely replicable on a large scale can always be enticing, right? This is why a lot of people went into UPCs. Not only was it a great product, but like they'd never done metal cards before. And I don't know that they're ever going to do them again, because clearly they couldn't keep up with demand for some reason or another. And so now they've pivoted. Clearly metal cards are out, or they would have done it again right here. And at least for the short term, until maybe they come up with something else, supply constraints and all that. So I think that there could be a lot more of these. That's my big takeaway from this, is there's a lot of fervor going on right now around these, getting these, pre-order them. I'm already seeing prices go crazy and people have the price memory from the other one. This is not the other one. While it is still Charizards, and it is still a Charizard themed box, which is going to be really nice, keeping it sealed, it's going to be a great display piece, it is not the other one. And their ability to churn these out, I assume, will be a lot higher.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my takeaway on it in terms of being more hesitant is initial wave, it's going to go. People are going to freak out. Prices are going to skyrocket. But I wouldn't be shocked if we see waves of those all throughout the holiday season. Now, I could be wrong. They could just one and done it, and I look like an idiot, and, they go down. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see those push all the way through the holiday season.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like they're being a little bit greedy. I mean, the amount of Charizard that comes out is understandable, but it's just like, couldn't you do 3 different, like you could have done the 3 starters. You could have done Blastoise, Venusaur, Charizard. You could have done something a little, and like spread out the love a little bit. And I think that would have made
But what Venusaur doesn't. We've been over it. Venusaur's not even in the big three anymore, man. We've
But
been over
the
it.
Brilliant Star is Charizard alt art. It has Venusaur in it. Where's I want the other camera angle.
It does actually.
You
That
know,
is a good point. Poor
like
Blastoise.
like
Blastoise.
I get it. I know why I know that why like a Charizard theme, great, fantastic, but
I would love to see more specialty products just away from Like,
Charizard
I don't know that the
Pikachu.
hobby can ever experience Charizard fatigue. I really don't. As much as I would like to
No.
believe it could. But I do think that the hobby is experiencing whatever the opposite of fatigue is, thirst. That, like, people are thirsty for more non-Gen 1 stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Johto. I really like Gen 2. I think Typhlosion is also a massive banger. I think a lot of people like Feraligatr and Meganium. Noctowl's really popular. You know, like, there are a lot of
Lugia,
Pokemon.
Ho-Oh, the
Lugia,
dogs.
Ho-Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Which we'll get. I guess Lugia is going to get its streak right here in a second. But, you know, I just think that there's more they could do with some of these specialty products than just Gen 1, Gen 1, Gen 1. Which, at the end of the day, their goal is to sell. And they know that they've got a recipe there that can do it. And if Charizard can never get fatigued out, then maybe that is the answer. But I do question if there would ever be a day. Do you think that there's ever that possibility that Charizard just...
You know, with Pokemon listening to our podcast and making all the decisions based off of it, and me being a Gen 1er, no, they're not going to change.
No shot. I thought you were going to say we're not seeing a Charizard for 3 years after this. They're cutting it.
I think...
Boys, the guys are on to us. We've got to take them out of production.
I don't know. Has there been any attempts of that stuff in the past that I don't recall that they failed with?
We've had some bigger products around other Pokemon. One of the ones I'm remembering is back when they did breaks. You know, Greninja break, Luxray break, all those. They made a box around Ho-Oh, which is probably, I assume, really expensive today because Ho-Oh is one of the more expensive breaks out there. I was going to say they did a box around Arcanine, but he's still a Gen 1er.
Ho-Oh premium collection box with Shining Legends.
Shining Ho-Oh, yeah. So, like, I think, but that's like, that, like, feels like as far as they're willing to go, right? Is like, man, we got to do a Gen 2. I guess Ho-Oh and Lugia. I mean, I guess.
Like, I mean, you look back at, they did a lot of, well, yeah, no, this is just all about kind of like the callbacks. Like, obviously, when the Gen 3 sets were out with Groudon and Kyogre, they pumped Kyogre and Groudon out like crazy. But yeah, it hasn't come back. All this stuff that they've done, they just haven't come back to anything other than Charizard, Pikachu, Eevee.
Well, and it goes in a cycle, right? Because they do game reprints, right? So we had Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, at which point, you know, I assume that probably lined up around Primal Clash time, which is why we had the Origin Form Kyogre and the Origin Form Groudon and all that. Or the Primals, not Origin, but Origin Form's Dialga and Palkia today. But the Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, you know, they kind of went, like, they incorporated into sets, right? The whole Heart Gold Soul Silver block existed because Heart Gold Soul Silver came out as video games. We are getting the Giratina set, the Dialga Palkia sets because Diamond and Pearl got their remakes. But outside of that, it feels like they're, like, content to just be like, man, we'll print those when their games come due, and other than that, we'll just fill them into some Gen 1, maybe a little Gen 2 mix, and then whatever's current modern. And I get it. I get the recipe, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, the fact, I feel like, when was the last time we saw a Xerneas card? And I get it, Xerneas is XY, it's next up on the chopping block for a reprint.
25th anniversary the celebrations had a Xerneas reprint in it.
A reprint of the same card doesn't count. What? No shot. Okay. No, but that's my thing, right? And, like, I guess technically next up on the chopping blocks, Black 3, White 3. I guess they're just gonna remake those for the second time. I don't know, because I would hope we'd skip it and just go XY. But yeah, that's I would like to see more variation. You know, I know you get chalked up as a Gen 1er a lot, and to some degree you probably are. I think everyone's going to gravitate to whatever era was their era growing up. But there are a lot of great Pokemon, a lot of great things in all of these eras, and I would like to see them touch on that a little more, even if it was just to the point of a collection box that had a Gen 1er and another Pokemon, right? Like, and they kind of did that with tag teams in a way, you know. Braxian and Charizard, Piplup and Blastoise, Venusaur and Snivy. You know, they kind of gave that, which also kind of alluded to, aren't all of those they're Gen 4? Aren't those all Diamond Pearl?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh no, that's black and white. Snivy's black and white.
And there was Zekrom, Pikachu. Zekrom was black and white.
Yeah, those are black and white, I think, because Empoleon's black and white.
Okay.
So, I believe.
And that was
someone out there's correcting us right now. How can you say Snivy's in the wrong generation?
I mean, that was another
Snivy. That's why. No, sorry, Snivy fans. Shit, I'm just firing strays everywhere.
That was another successful thing that Pokemon did that they just stopped. The whole tag teams. Those were fun.
Tag teams. Yeah, which to be fair, that's kind of like every era they do the thing, right? It transit. That was like the Sun and Moon era thing. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see them do some of that stuff a little longer. I mean, they had tag teams, they had megas, which megas were a product of those games. But I like some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to stay so restrictive to and part of this we future topic that we have for you guys, a little teaser, is talking about some of this stuff and what we want to see. But I would like to see that. I would like to see them be less restrictive. And I'll break that down more when we talk about it in the future. But yeah, speaking of, real quick, Cosmic Eclipse, because I don't want to forget this. And this is just a quick one. There's an Arceus collection box coming out. So I don't know if you all heard my rant on collection boxes back on the podcast episode where Radar and I talked about some of the things that Pokemon does right and wrong. And I'm pretty anti-collection box outside of the premium ones because they're usually terrible. And they still are, because there's a Hisuian Electrode box coming out, which is just completely uninspiring in all sense of the word. It's like basic V, just trash. But they have an Arceus collection box coming out that's really interesting, because not only is Arceus playable, but the product display images have a Cosmic Eclipse booster pack, front and center. And obviously Cosmic Eclipse, one of those sets that really never got the booster box reprint that everyone kind of anticipated that it would. Mm-hmm. But it also makes me wonder, do they just have a ton? Because we haven't seen, other than the trainer toolkits, we haven't seen Unbroken Bonds. We haven't seen Team Up. We haven't seen a lot of those sets in the late side of Sun and Moon hit those reprint thresholds of more packs coming out, more whatever. And they're crazy expensive. And yet we still keep seeing Cosmic Eclipse. And I kind of wonder if they just have too much Cosmic Eclipse, so they keep shoving it. Same way they did with Crimson Invasion, same way they did with Evolutions. The same, is Cosmic Eclipse that we're going to have one in every collection box for the next 5 years? And that's kind of what I wonder. But I still think the market wants it. I think the market wants Cosmic Eclipse. I would just love to see some Team Up, to see some Unbroken Bonds, to see those packs littered in. I think it helps people have accessibility to some of these cards, keeps the market rather stable and healthy, but still keeps those people that want to buy booster boxes and put them on their shelves to feel rewarded for doing so. And I think it's a nice balance. If you're going to reprint older sets that are well out of circulation, I like doing it in that fashion where it's a pack. You feel rewarded for buying that box. You got this cool pack that you couldn't get otherwise. But I think just doing a blanket booster box reprint, that kind of thing, I'm not a huge fan of that. And so I saw that Cosmic Eclipse one, and it just got me thinking, what are these other packs? Could there be Team Up in there? Could there be, Unbroken Bonds or some of those higher end sets? Because I would love to chase Team Up again. I think Team Up is with Latios and Latias, the alternate art where they make a heart.
The heart, yeah.
Would love to chase that card again. And, because I didn't chase it enough when it was out, because it was super cheap when it came out. And so, yeah, I saw that box coming out. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or the Cosmic Eclipse, or if you'd rather them just not reprint at all. But
no, I would. I mean, a reprint in a large fashion would be great for me, so then I could buy some. But I agree with you. It's just kind of filtering those things into collection boxes makes it more exciting again and not frustrating. So I think that's the right way. But yeah, you mentioned before we went on to that topic that Pokemon just does these new things every era or whatever. Are they running out of ideas because they just brought EXs back?
Okay. That's tough.
So this was an announcement.
Running out of ideas. I don't think Pokemon's ever. They could just crowdsource ideas from people and just use them.
Well, this is what Pokemon does every year at Worlds, right? They announce the new mechanic, right? That's
sure.
what you say. for the card game, moving on to the next block of cards, and they announced that they showed a card. I forget what it was. Do you remember what?
They showed a Well, so they started with the 2 legendaries from Scarlet and Violet, and then they transitioned into Lucario, Magnezone, and one other one that I don't remember. And the Magnezone, we actually saw the text on it. It looks like it has similar attacks back to Magnezone Prime, kind of the attach energy, discard them off for 50x type of thing. Magnezone evolves on that card, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, like, essentially showing like there will be stage 1 and 2 of these EXs, not just basics like what we generally see with Vs. And so, yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, they announced this big new mechanic, and it's EX, but the reason the EX matters is it's lowercase EX. So this would be similar to the early EX, your EX Holland Phantoms, your EX Team Rocket Returns, those types of sets, as opposed to the EXs, the capital ones that we saw in Black and White, XY, etc. So it's them kind of doing a throwback, right? And this is, I think, your bigger point is, do they run out of ideas so they just recycle old ones? And as long as they're far enough apart, everyone's like, this is so exciting. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm excited for it. I think it's cool. I left the hobby in Legendary Collection. So I never really experienced those in their prime. Now, luckily, packs weren't super expensive when I got back in, so I did get to open some Ruby and Sapphire packs and things like that. So those I've done.
I opened up a Holland Phantoms pack recently. I posted it on my YouTube if you want to check it out.
I saw this guy, by the way, if you want to know. Radar is never punished when it comes, like, opening one of those packs. Your EV is so low, expected value, that, like, he should get punished. And instead, he just pulls a crispy Mewtwo Gold Star. Go watch it. Trust me, I know I spoiled it, but it's worth it. It's worth the watch. Yeah. I'm frustrated that Radar never gets punished, which is why he keeps buying them, baby. Like, it's crazy to me. But yeah, so I got to do those, though. I got to open some of those. So I know kind of what to expect if they do it in a similar fashion. I think it was a fun era. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. But yeah, does it feel like they just recycled something? A little bit. But I think that's okay. I really do, because I think it would be neat eventually if somehow they made a legacy format or a modern, what Magic does, where they have standard, modern, vintage, like all those different things. I would love if somehow Pokemon would incorporate it, and maybe those kind of things where you could have an old Magneton EX. There's no such thing, but say you did. That could evolve to your new Magnezone EX, or something like, or cards that only work on EXs, but now they work with the old ones and the new things like that. I think that would be really neat. They'll probably never do it because it's extremely complicated, but I don't inherently hate that they're going back to those. Would I have loved just something new and crazy? Sure, but we have had a lot of new, the V Maxes, the Vs, the
Vstars.
Megas, yeah, like it's been new thing after new thing. I feel like it's been a little while since they've rehashed. I think the worst it was when it was EX to GX from like the XY to the Sun and Moon era, where it was like, okay, this is really just the same thing, but you just want to make new cards that don't impact the old cards. So I would much more despise that. If they're like, instead of V Maxes, we're doing G Maxes, baby. Like, that to me is like, okay, so you change the letter, no effort. Like, so I more prefer this.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
Do you like it?
I have no thoughts or opinions on the matter, to be honest.
Hey, I'm throwing.
I complain about the fact that they would take, they wouldn't spend a lot of time on good things and take it away. So like, I just want them to be consistent with things that work. And I mean, obviously bias things that I like.
We don't care what you do, just do it well.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see from a vintage side if the word EXs on the new cards brings interest even more so to the old EXs. So that'll be interesting to see. I can't make any really educated guesses on that because we haven't seen this before. But I guess we kind of did with the second EXs, but I don't think that had any correlation.
Yeah, it didn't, because they were so drastically different, and that may still be the thing here. Yeah, I mean, you're talking way more hit points, way more damage, full art cards versus regular. Yeah, and so these may just be drastically different, which is why we don't feel or, feel the
Right.
same. But I could see it, especially just when you're typing in, especially if there's some overlap, right? If they make a Salamence EX like the old, like a new one, and you type in Salamence EX and you start pulling up cards of the old ones, it could generate, that's cool. I love Salamence. I didn't know that card was a thing. So
Yeah.
I do. And I think what's cool about doing something like this is you can hammer home some of that nostalgia for people without losing your main audience that never experienced it. Right, to them this is going to feel new. The cards are designed like new cards. It's going to feel good. But for the old, it's just a tinge, just a little sprinkle of nostalgia makes you feel good about it. And I like that they announced this with the Scarlet Violet starters and not the or not starters but the legendaries, and not Charizard, Pikachu, Blastoise. They announced, Lucario, Magnezone, like Pokemon that are popular for their era, but not the ones we're talking about all the time. And I think that made it interesting. I know you're thinking Magnezone's not popular for its era. Magnezone is popular.
Really? I don't know. I wasn't there. I like Lucario too.
Magnezone's popular for TCGers specifically because Magnezone's always had some really interesting cards in the history of the TCG that are playable, right? Magnezone Prime pretty much led the way for a huge deck, Magnezone Yanmega. Moving forward, there was Dual Brains Magnezone that you could play 2 supporters with that a lot of people tried to create, really unique combinations because that was a thing that you could never do before, was play 2 supporters in a turn. So yeah, Magnezone's always kind of had some unique options in the TCG, and I think that kind of caters to them of like, here's a card that's probably going to be relevant. And I think that's specifically why at Worlds they showed the text of the Magnezone and none of the others is like the Lucario is because it's showing you like, hey, this is kind of a throwback for all you Magnezone Yanmega fans, for all you people that really enjoyed playing in the Prime Black-White era. Here you go. It's kind of similar. So yeah, I think that's why that one specifically. But yeah, Magnezone is popular. Don't hate. It's you, Jen Water.
It's a shame that these playable cards aren't holding any collectible value.
I mean, some do, but some of it just takes time, right? Like at the end of the day, what primes are people going to chase when they want to collect? The ones that fit in their collections. What fits in people's collections? Espeon, Umbreon, Gengar, Mew. Like part of maybe it should be its own episode, but like part of, to me, the problem is people say we want all these other things, but then they don't collect those other things. Yeah. Why are they going to print you things that you're not going to collect, right? If you want more unique things, if you want more Yanmega Ultra Rares, more Magnezone Ultra Rares, start collecting those cards. Start gobbling them up. But if you just keep collecting Evolutions and Gengars and Mews and things like that, that's what they're going to keep. They're going to give the people what they want. And I think that's part of the problem, is that's what the people want, is that. And then it creates a cycle, right? You want the stuff that there's always something new to collect, and so on and so forth. That's why I was actually watching it was the PokeFlips podcast, and they had Charlie on. And I think one of the things they discussed was, could Charizard ever be dethroned? And first of all, Big Brain Charlie says Pikachu's on the throne, so I don't know how Charizard could come. But the idea of could those guys come down? Could something else take their place? The answer is no. I mean, just almost by the inherent cycle, you would have to break that cycle somehow. And so I think the answer to that's just no, period.
And breaking that cycle or attempting to would put Pokemon in a very bad...
Correct. Why risk it? Why? The only way... I think the closest we ever got to that was Greninja. And I don't even think that was intentional, right? I think they knew, we're going to put Greninja in the anime. It's going to be crazy.
They did that online thing of what's their favorite Pokemon in Greninja 1, right?
Well, and it won in Japan. Why did it win in Japan? Because Ash's Greninja, because it was in the show. The Pokemon was off. Greninja was awesome in that show. Yeah. It felt like I was watching an anime like Naruto or One Piece or something when I watched that, and not like a kid's cartoon. That's what made it cool. And I think that's why a lot of people resonated with that. And I think that was the closest we'd ever gotten to and we saw more Greninja promos, products. They had the DVD that has Ash's Greninja. We saw more of that stuff, sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, than what we've ever seen at any other point of just a random anime Pokemon. And sure. I think that's the closest we ever got. And I think they leaned into it a little bit. But then how did they lean back? Well, his main competitor is going to have Mega Charizard. And they're going to have a spirit battle, and it's going to be crazy. And so I don't know. I don't think it'll ever happen. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
not
my
a
2 cents
chance.
on it. I'm excited for Scarlet and Violet. I am, but we're not there yet. We're not in Scarlet and Violet yet,
No.
as much as I would like to be, because we still have one set left for this year.
Well, two, but one.
Okay, but we're over that, right? Don't you remember we've talked about this before? When a set actually releases, we don't even care about it anymore. We've
I mean,
experienced it a million times over. Lost Origins, old
Pokemon.
news, my
Yeah,
friend.
Pokemon clearly doesn't. They already have pre-orders up for the next set.
For the other, and the first isn't even out, man. That goes back to my whole thing about like tin promos releasing before the sets are, yeah, all kinds of crap. I'm over that, but we've talked about Lost Origins. We have a whole podcast episode where we talk about Lost Origins, what we think about the set. We got a lot of flack because people said we didn't give it enough credit to the trainer gallery. I think people are going to realize that the trainer gallery is way too overprinted within the sets. The cards are too common, and therefore it doesn't sell a set, and therefore Lost Origins won't hold value. But hey, we'll see who's right or wrong. The history clearly lines up with me, but that's okay. But I want to talk about set 12 because in that podcast, you had made the critical error of saying that was set 12, and I corrected you. And I'm just giving Radar a hard time. But yeah, his counting is a little off, you know. But the reason, though, that you were making that point was because set 12, historically throughout the hobby, has some unique characteristics to it, or just the last set of an era. So do you want to kind of break down for everyone what we're talking about is the last set of the year is called Silver Tempest, and that's Incandescent Arcana, and I forget the other set name in Japan that are going to be put together. We'll probably get some random promos splashed in, things like that. But Silver Tempest is our last set. It's around the two new Reggies, Regidrago and Regieleki, and then Lugia, and then the headliner, Alolan Vulpix, which I want to get into that in a second. But that will be our last set of the year. So go take us back now. Imagine we were back in that other conversation about Lost Origin, but now it's just about Silver Tempest. What was the point that you wanted to make about a set 12?
Dude, I don't remember.
He doesn't remember. I remember. I know what point you were making because the second you started to make it, I was like, man, if this was the right set, this would be a great point, but it's not the right set.
What did I say? My memory is shot.
Radar's memory is shot. He's an old man, and we're not talking about Gen 1 at the moment, so he's tuned out. But no, the point of set 12 is kind of unique in the fact that historically set 12 performs extremely well, even when maybe it doesn't perform well right away. So going back to things like Call of Legends, if we take the Sun and Moon block, that would be the Cosmic Eclipse, the set that we literally just talked about how they're still including packs into collection boxes and people are happy about it. That would be your XY evolutions for X and Y, which didn't perform well at the time, but did perform well later long term.
Yeah.
This is another set. So it comes down to kind of what are those reasons? And so if you want to take over here, if you're ready, or do you just want me to keep rolling on
No,
this?
because I haven't really looked it up at all, but just the name drops that you had there, does this set compare to Evolution's Call of Legends? Does it fit, or is it? I feel like it fits kind of within the rest of
right, because if you look when those sets released, Cosmic Eclipse felt overprinted, all the character rares plummeted, tanked, weren't valuable. XY Evolutions opened into oblivion. Everything tanked, wasn't even worth opening the boxes. Call of Legends stores literally couldn't even sell it. Nobody wanted to buy it because it at the time, collecting was still a thing, but it wasn't like a huge thing compared to like what mainly drove a set when it came out, which was playability. And other than like Pachirisu and Shaman, which Shaman was also in Unleashed, it didn't really have any like crazy reprints. I think Pachirisu was also like a reprint as well, but those were still rather expensive cards. People wanted them. And then it had like the Call of Legends energies, which were neat. You could get the foil energies with the Pokemon in the background. They're still some of the most popular today. But like the SL shinies, nobody cared about those. Nobody wanted that. You could not sell Call of Legends boxes as a store. And I wasn't even a store back then. I just remember buying them for even like $90, which was kind of like the benchmark of boxes back then.
Wow.
You were like, I remember buying boxes from a local store for $70 because they couldn't move them. So like none of those sets historically performed well in their time, but they all matured very well. And I think part of that, and I have no data to support this, but part of that's my theory that Pokemon tends to, I think, rein back on the print lever around set 12. because they know they're leading into a new block. So if people don't know how blocks are structured, they're generally structured, or at least they have been for the last 10 years or so, in 3-year cycles where, Black and White, XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and I assume Scarlet and Violet will all follow this pattern, which is 12 sets, four core sets every year. Meaning that just like how the Pokemon games release once every 3 years, this is how we know generally when a new generation's coming. We know the month that it's going to be in, which is November, and we generally know the Friday it's going to land on, which is the 11th or the 18th, or around that timeline, second, third week of November. And it stays pretty true to that methodology. And if you were going to launch a new set, which, to be fair, when our set 12 comes is when that new set's already hitting in Japan, right when the games launch. That's the hype train, right? People are getting the new Pokemon cards with the new games, whatever. Unfortunately, ours come later in that February of the following year. Would you want people to continue buying your old thing, or would you want them to buy your new hype thing that may also then get them to buy your video game, your plushies, your t-shirts, your whatever? And so it's always felt like they'll print what they need to print for that holiday season and people gobble it up. But the second that they're ready to make that pivot to that new set, they drop it. They don't want to overshadow it, because if they ever have, like, the thing about core sets, like your main new launch set, so your your base set, your XY base, your Sun and Moon base, those sets historically end up being looked upon as kind of weaker, right? If you look at XY base, it had Mega Blastoise, Mega Venusaur, but it was rather weak compared to like Flash Fire that came after it. If you look at Sun and Moon base, it had Espeon and Umbreon and Gold Ultra Ball, but it was kind of weak compared to what came after it, which was, Tapu Lele, Guardians Rising, and then Burning Shadows Charizard, right? Crazy. So you've got to sell that set while you can, and you've got to sell that hype while you can, and you don't want to risk your core set being considered weak enough that people just will buy the old thing instead. And so I've always kind of felt like they rein back on that, and that's why we tend to see these go out of print. Now, Evolutions would be a contradiction to that, because Evolutions, it felt like we saw forever, but I think Evolutions was a product of they overprinted that demand in the time and just had to get rid of it somehow and kept flooding it in. Whereas Cosmic Eclipse felt like more kind of where they normally want to land. Legendary Treasures, by the way, we haven't even mentioned that. Black and White, same way. It was a reprint set that they just put the Radiant Collection in.
Yeah.
And that set, you could buy packs for 50 cents a pack. Like, I remember Troll wouldn't even buy, like, Troll blanket buys booster packs at $1 a pack, like on their buy list. They wouldn't even buy packs of that for $1. And like, I remember coming home from a regional with a bag, like a backpack, just filled with everyone's Legendary Treasures packs that they traded to me for ultra rares. Like, I wouldn't even buy them. I wouldn't even buy them because they were so bad, but people would trade you like 10 packs for like the $5 equivalent of a card. So I just loaded up my backpack because they had like the Gold Reshiram and Zekrom, which were cool, but they were like $10-15. Nobody wanted them. And now look at that set now. Historically, that set is like, it's high up there. And so, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on whatever their reasoning is, that set 12 usually just ends up hitting. And it kind of has ever since that Call of Legends, Heart Gold, Soul Silver combined with like that era. So yeah,
they like the majority of those sets, other than it was Unbroken, no, not Unbroken Bonds,
Cosmic Eclipse, Call of Legends, Evolutions.
To me, Cosmic Eclipse is kind of the oddball out there. The other ones feel like specialty sets in a way.
Yeah, and they kind of do it that way historically, right? Like Cosmic Eclipse,
am I wrong about Cosmic?
Right. It had character rares, which we hadn't.
That was the okay. So then we should expect some sort of unique piece to this set.
That's where this might break, because so we have seen some leaks. We haven't seen everything, right? We're probably going to get some of the trainer gallery cards that we haven't gotten, if we haven't gotten all those yet. But it doesn't feel like this set 12 is doing anything drastically different than what we've seen in the rest of the Sword and Shield block. We've got Vstars. We'll probably have some of the trainer gallery. We've got a big headliner in Lugia, even though Lugia is not the headliner, and don't let me forget to touch on that. And then it's Regieleki and Regidrago, some new Pokemon, some alt arts. We're going to have a couple more Radiants. Like I think Alakazam is looking to be one, and that kind of thing. But it doesn't seem like we're getting that new thing. that thing that really set some of those sets apart, right? Evolutions was like the nostalgia throwback 101. The Legendary Treasures was the Radiant Collection with Mew headlining it. And then, you know, it had a couple new EXs, Excadrill and Chandelure. But for the most part, it was a reprint set, but it had the gold cards. It had Gold Reshiram, Gold Zekrom. Big deal. Call Legends, the foil energies, and the SL Shinies. Like, I haven't seen anything really unique to this one outside of an unknown ultra rare, which I know we had the alpha lithographs, but those aren't really unknown as a Pokemon. And then we did have in the EX Unseen Forces, you have all the unknowns that you can kind of get as like almost like pseudo secret rares / hollow rares.
Right.
Unknown's actually getting an ultra rare in this, which I think is really cool. I'm biased. I love unknown. But I haven't seen anything different from this. And that does make me worried for that kind of whole set 12 theory, because I do think that people are inclined to hear that theory and be like, oh man, I'm going all in. It's worked 5 times. Clearly it's going to work a 6th. And I think that's really dangerous, because I think those did that for the reasons we mentioned. And some of those aren't lining up here.
Yeah. So that's what I was worried about. But I haven't looked into the set at all. I've just have seen the Alolan Vulpix on the front of the ETB. Lame.
Is that not weird to you?
It's so weird. It's lame. Like, honestly, I get it. Alolan Vulpix.
He's a Gen 1. Oh, if it was just regular Vulpix, you'd be fine.
Oh, no, not even regular Vulpix. Not like I'm like the meme that I want is a Weedle chase set. I want Weedle Rainbow Rare Altart Gold card.
This is paving the way for that. Alolan Vulpix is walking so that Weedle can run. Okay.
All right. Maybe that'll be the one thing that I could take out of this, but it's just unexciting. Like, look at the Lost Origin ETB. It's awesome. It looks great.
It is. The Giratina looks great.
And I'm sure they put a little accents on it with some snowflakes and stuff to make it look Christmassy, which makes sense. But
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's just
they're kind of playing into the Christmas like snow, because otherwise Lugia is the no-brainer, right? The way we've talked about all these, if you look at historically, Pikachu, Charizard, Giratina, what other ones? Arceus, you know, like all of them seem pretty cut and dry. All the evolutions. Alolan Vulpix.
That is a dramatic
really
change.
Scream crazy set 12.
All right.
And Lugia would.
Oh my gosh.
But the snow thing, the Christmas thing, I think that makes sense. That's big brain Pokemon. Oh, the mom's walking through the store. I'm going to buy my kids some cards. And it's like, oh, that's a cute little snow fox in the winter for Christmas. They're going to open it up like, maybe this is a Christmas product. Like, I think that's smart. That's smarter than all the other reasons I thought this was cool.
Okay.
Okay, Radar's like,
I still think if they
brought that to the table, everyone chalk that on my board.
If they put a Lugia on it, they'd sell way more, but that's okay.
Okay, I don't even know that I agree with you on that, but probably. But I think the Alolan Vulpix is cool. It's not an evolution, but it does evolve. Yeah. How often outside of Pikachu do we really see that? And I don't think it's very often. And one of the things that I've heard before, we talked about this in a collectible conversations before this channel when we used to put them on our own channels, about how it'd be cool if they made a specialty set where all of the biggest, highest end ultra rares were like the base forms of all these evolution Pokemon, like a Dratini or a Charmander or whatever, even though Charmander probably gets more love than almost any of these, but like a Weedle, you know?
Yeah.
And we kind of got that with the Shiny Vault, where you could get shiny versions of lower end Pokemon, and look how well those sets did, right? Hidden Fates, Shining Fates, like that was fun. It was fun to see some of those Pokemon get a little bit of shine in their life. And I feel like Alolan Vulpix is kind of that step in that right direction, where they easily could have done Ninetales and had the same effect. Alolan Ninetales on it, still get your Christmas hype scene if that's what their goal was. You also have a relatively popular Pokemon. You could have even played that off with Unite, because Alolan Ninetales is in Unite and really popular. Like, tons of things you could have done with that. Yeah. But they chose Vulpix specifically. And not only did they choose Vulpix for the side, but it's getting a Vstar. So a base Pokemon's getting a Vstar instead of it being Alolan Ninetales Vstar. And I like that. I like that.
It makes sense. I mean, they pushed Vulpix and Ninetales as like the poster childs for Alolan, kind of in my mind.
Yeah, them and
Dugtrio.
Oh my god, they could have done Sandshrew and Sandslash, and Sandshrew could have been on the side. Have you guys ever seen Alolan Sandshrew? He's so cute.
They could have done a Diglett.
Oh no.
A Diglett, man.
All right, no shot. No shot, dude.
But,
okay,
yeah,
I'm not an Alolan Dugtrio fan, so Diglett, yeah, dude, but again, what's up with making Pokemon that have like Trump locks? Like, I know it's block, but it's got like long block over.
I'm still waiting for the first Donald Trump signed
Gumshoe?
Gumshoe, yeah.
Gumshoe GX, yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but dude, they could have done Sandshrew. Man, now I'm a little more down on the Vulpix. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Who would you have wanted more? Who were you more likely to buy on the side of that ETB? Vulpix? Alolan Vulpix? Or Alolan Sandshrew? I would have bought regular Sandshrew. Are you not a Sandshrew fan?
You know, they haven't really done much with Sandshrew since that first episode in the anime.
That episode where he puts him in the bodysuit, he throws him in the water, and that Sandshew's like, "This don't bother me," and then he just beats up on Pikachu.
The water resistant Sandshrew.
His legacy was cemented from that.
Where is that? That is the strongest Pokemon in the world. That Sandshrew, his weakest resistance did not exist. That
did not exist.
Can't be killed.
He was
knocked out.
What if they brought him back in the future and they like DNA spliced him and found out that he was like half Alolan Sandshrew and that's why he could swim?
He's he's patient zero.
He was patient zero of Alola and he escaped. That's why that guy. That's why he was in the suit. It was a shock device that kept him.
One of those random crawling mad scientists made his way to that gym, and they started working together and created the Alolan world.
This is why we are not allowed to pick anything, and why Pokemon doesn't believe us for anything. Yes, but yeah, I think the Alolan Vulpix is neat. I think it's a neat direction they could take, and I think it does open up that if this did well, aka go out and buy your Alolan Vulpix ETBs, even if you don't want one, that they'll do this more in the future with other crazy cool Pokemon. I think
Weedle.
There's so many Pokemon. It would be neat to get some of them featured, even if it's just the starters on the side. Even if it's not just Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander, but Cyndaquil, Chikorita, Totodile, Piplup, like some of those, just non-evolutions. It's fun to get some cards that you can revel in those things. I mean, look at the Sitting Cutie plushes. Look how well those do because you can buy any Pokemon you want from the generations that have released. And there's tons, like, dude, the unknowns. You can buy whatever letter you want. Like, how cool would that be? Like, dude, what if Unknown would have been on the side of that? Oh, man. Unknown is the most underutilized Pokemon in the hobby for what they could do with it.
Here comes the Pokemon sanctioned Unknown mystery packs.
Dude, what if they... I don't know.
What if they did some like crazy? Yeah, they did some crazy. No, they would do some crazy puzzle that you have to solve by getting these cards together, and whoever can do it and solve it wins a trip to Japan and gets it. Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah,
but stuff like that, you always run the risk of just like the store owners ripping their product at pre-releases and like winning. I don't know, but yeah, I think it'd be cool. I was thinking the other day, how in Yu-Gi-Oh! They had the Destiny board cards that spelled final, Final, in English, or it was death in Japanese. And if you put them all out, you win or whatever. It's kind of like the idea of like Exodia. It'd be neat if they had like unknown, but it was winner. So you put like a W in your active and then INNER is your bench and you won. Like you won the game. There's way too much search in Pokemon for that to be possible. But like that would be cool.
I think Pokemon's staying away from that because of all the terrible things you can do with the full alphabet. So... with all letters of the alphabet.
True. I don't know. EX Unseen Forces, they did it. It's probably just a lot, right? Because not only do you have your 26 letters, but you have exclamation point, you have the question mark. So you're talking 28 cards that you have to release in a set. And you have to generally do them all at the same rarity.
They're 400 card sets now, aren't they? 300 card sets.
Yeah, but like if you want to do an ultra rare, right? And like I think this is the big question about unknown, like the unknown Vstar.
Unknown about
which letter is it gonna be? It's gonna be S for Squeaks. because that's the best. It could be all of them. What if it was all of them? Like on a card, like the whole card was just unknown, dude.
It would
And
be
all
too
its
much.
text was written in unknowns. Bro, they've got to do it. Okay. We beat this set. But anyways, this set's coming out. I would be hesitant on using the whole 12th set, 12th whatever, but it is just something to keep an eye on. If you start seeing it disappearing and it's not coming back and we're starting to move into Scarlet and Violet, definitely something to keep an eye on. Alolan Vulpix, the heater of the set, even though it's probably still going to end up being Lugia, and it does look like they're all going to have alternate arts. So Lugia alternate arts, one to probably keep an eye on. But there's something I want to talk about today that we have to talk about. And I alluded to it a little bit, that we're getting an Alakazam, a Radiant Alakazam. It's going to be a basic. You just play it out. Part of that, though, part of Alakazam specifically getting basics where he just can be played is because they can't print Kadabra, or they couldn't print Kadabra for the longest time because they got sued by Uri Geller way back when, said there was too much overlap, blah, blah, blah. So Pokemon just didn't print him anymore. Apparently, during COVID, Uri Geller changed his mind. Now, you can head on over to Poke Beach where you can check out the full article on this. Even it got an interview from him and everything. What you got?
I thought he died and like his estate changed their mind. No? Okay.
Nope, he's
alive.
Go
to Poke Beach. But, I don't know what I'm talking about.
The big argument was he changed his mind. He's really in for Pokemon fans, blah, blah. But then he was also creating a Uri Geller museum, like right at the same time. And like probably if he would have included like the Kadabra cards, would have gotten sued by them for like, oh, so you didn't want us to use these, but now you want to use them for your own promote, blah, blah. So whatever. He had a change of heart.
The amount of money he can make from
something like his
cards.
Grandchild or something like was like release Kadabra. So he released Kadabra. I don't know.
No, he's realized he can just like make a ton of money signing Kadabra cards.
Probably. But he actually sent a letter to Pokemon saying like, hey, do it. And if you like want to pay a fee, like you don't have to, but if you want to, I'll donate it to charity or something. Because he like has a kids charity now. So like, let's give him benefit of the doubt. He realized like, hey, this was a stupid thing to do. Let's let Kadabra happen. But we still haven't had a Kadabra card since then. We have an Alakazam now. We do know that sets are done well in advance. So I'm assuming they just didn't want to do it randomly. Like I assume bringing Kadabra back is a big deal. Like there's a lot of people that really like Abra.
Mm-hmm.
And we did have that back in Diamond and Pearl where there was an Abra that could like use its attack to evolve straight into Alakazam because they didn't print a Kadabra, and that was a little weird.
Was Kadabra allowed in the video games?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. But my point is more the like bringing him back in the TCG is going to be a big deal to have the full evolution line. And I think we could see it in the EX era because there was an old Alakazam level X. I don't think there was an EX, but there was a level X.
Oh, there was EX.
But
secret rare.
Huh?
Secret rare Alakazam EX. The gold border full art one.
Oh, yeah, in that era. I'm talking the old EX era. Yeah, I don't think there were. I think level X was when he got his big one, but we could see them make an Alakazam EX because we already saw from like the Magnezone that they're going to evolve. Mm-hmm. So it could be an Alakazam EX that evolves. And Alakazam's always been a popular Gen 1 Pokemon for them to kind of like throw into Spruce's setup when it doesn't have a major headliner. So we could see that, right? That's what Alakazam and Fates Collide was. Like they had the Umbreon, but it wasn't like Alakazam. So we could see that, and we could see Kadabra come back. But I think it's really interesting that like this happened, like because he sent Pokemon a message like, "Hey, you could do that," and then he got a message back from Ishihara that was like, "Hey, thank you, good luck on the launch of your museum." Like, definitely, like it felt like the most politically correct, like, "Hey, screw you, made our life a nightmare," but like, here, good luck, man. Like, thanks for Kadabra back. Like,
do you think Pokemon will retrace and print Kadabras for every set that they could have?
No,
just to like pay homage to
my gosh, to go back and like e-reader board, well, because
like a specialties kind of set where it's like, hey, chase all the Kadabras that should have existed.
They just make a specialty Kadabra set only, and it's just fucking
just like celebrations. But okay,
I don't think so. I think that we'll eventually see it, and I think it'll be a cool thing that'll like get people really hyped up, draw a lot of publicity. Because that's the other thing. It's going to draw a lot of publicity. That's the kind of thing that you can make an article out of if you're an IGN writer, if you're a Kotaku writer or something. You know, Pokemon prints the first Kadabra in 20-some years, and you tell the backstory, and you tell why it happened and everything, and people will click, and people will read it, and that's crazy. So, like, they know that will drive hype alone.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's going to be a really big deal. And that's probably why we didn't see it in a set 12, where, again, at least from my perspective and opinion, they probably already want to gloss over it anyways. So, yeah, I think that I think it's relevant. I think it's a big deal. I think, it's not a big deal right now, but I saw that PokeBeach had posted up and did a little interview with him. I thought it was kind of an interesting story because a lot of people don't even know that happened. They just, most people probably don't even realize they haven't gotten a Kadabra card in, 15 years or something like that. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I like that evolution line. Abra is my favorite of the three, but Sabrina was always like my favorite gym leader, and she had an Alakazam and Kadabra and all that. So yeah, but what do you think about the holiday calendar? Do you know anything about this?
I don't. All I know about holiday calendars with Pokemon is they send really big ones to influencers to open up packs. But
okay, so this is not like that at all. So this is kind of a holiday thing that they're doing. Kind of. Did you see the Halloween packs that you can get?
Oh, yeah.
We buy it like a bag of candy almost, but you're going to give those out, and they have promos. So this is going to be like the winter thing, and they've done this once before. Man, was it 2004, 2008, something like that? But they did a countdown calendar, and it counts down to the new year, and it had cards that were already printed, but they had a special stamp. And they're really expensive today. Like the Pikachu with the snowflake stamp, very expensive, very hard to find. And the sealed calendars themselves are very expensive, but they're doing them again this year. They release, I think it's going to be, something tells me it's September, but it's not. I think it's like November, October, but it's sometime before the end of the year, before the holidays. And it's going to be a countdown calendar that you open it up, you get a card out each day, whatever. And the different ones that we've seen so far, I don't know if this is all of them, but it's like Pikachu, and because they're generally holiday themed. So there's a Delibird, there's an Ice Rider Calyrex this year, but they're all reprints of cards we already have, but they have a special stamp, like a special snowflake stamp on them. So I think that's cool. I obviously I wish they had new art, new unique art, but it would probably become like Scalper Heaven, so they want to kind of avoid that. But I think it's fun for just a casual holiday thing. Like I've always liked those things where you like the Lego does them, where you like open the door and you build your little Lego set for the day and stuff like that. I like when they do stuff when they lean into like Pokemon not just being a card game or a video game, but just being a part of your life, like a part of the things you do regularly. And
what's the distribution like?
It's a fun way to integrate it into the holiday for kids.
What's the distribution like for that stuff? Does it go to card stores? Does it go to Target? Does it go to PokemonCenter.com?
I assume it's big box stores because I didn't see anything about it at the distributor. Maybe I just missed it because I usually tend to avoid kind of the really niche products like that. Although this one I probably would have bought, but I'm going to assume it's just big box store because that's what the holiday packs ones, those were. I didn't see those up at distributor at all. I haven't heard anything about them except that they're just going to be like at like Walmart and Target and places, and I assume it's going to be in the candy aisle, actually not in your standard card aisle. Like that's where I would have them put them, is where people would buy candy for Halloween. And so I assume this would be it's going to be, my guess is it would actually be in the toy section, not the card section, where the Pokemon stuff is in the toy section, and then around any other like holiday themed merch and stuff like that. But yeah, I assume it's just big box stores for this one, but I think as long as the price point's reasonable, and I'm not sure what it is, I assume it's probably like 20, 30 bucks. I think that's like a really fun thing. Oh, and we're getting the flower Pikachu in that. So that's the only new art. The Sao art. So it's coming to English. We're getting that one in there, and it is going to have the snowflake stamp. So if you like that art, you didn't want it in Japanese, you wanted it in English, we are getting that one. And it's going to have your little snowflake on it. So it'll have a neat little stamp to kind of commemorate that it came from your calendar and everything. And that may be enough to drive that product alone, honestly, because that card was extremely popular, but those have become extremely affordable now at this point. So, but yeah, I don't know. Do you like holiday products, or do you just think they're kind of gimmicky?
No, yeah, I think it's a necessity. It's awesome. For any company, it just makes sense to market stuff like that, and it with the wide range of Pokemon and you can match them up with anything. You could, with any event, with any holiday, with anything. So might as well utilize it and take advantage of that. So I'm not like particularly excited for it. Like maybe I'd get one. I wouldn't like buy a bunch just to like hoard them.
Just get it for fun. Get one, open the door each day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
probably
I think-
already know what you're getting anyways, but who cares? Like,
Yeah,
it's just like to me,
yeah,
I like
if,
just like
if I stumble upon it, I will buy one just for that reason. Like that's something that I would do.
That's kind of how I feel about like the McDonald's promotions, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a neat thing. Like if I'm going to McDonald's, I see like, okay, cool, I'll grab a Happy Meal, like partake in it, open my pack, do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that like sometimes it's fun, even whether you're like a stonker, a flipper, a store owner, a collector, whatever. Just to be in the hobby and just kind of do some of the like little things that remind us like why we fell in love with this whole thing in the first place, why we enjoy it so much in the first place. It are those things. I think that's why you like opening booster packs, right? I struggle with it. I see it as like complete money sink. You always enjoyed opening booster packs.
Mm-hmm.
So you like to rip one. It makes you feel good. I always remember those like little promotion type things growing up, like the going to Pokemon leagues and getting my promo card and things like that. And you know that it was a big deal that holidays were generally when I would get Pokemon cards because like I didn't get them all the time. And so like, you know, Easter or Christmas or one of those types of things. So like that to me kind of like brings that nostalgia back and like makes me revel in it. You know,
Okay.
I know the McDonald's Pokemon it reminds me of when we'd all go to Burger King and get the toys. You know, do you remember those toys and the Pokeballs and stuff? Like that's so cool. Yeah. And I always enjoyed the Monopoly game at McDonald's. So like it's also just like going to McDonald's. There's almost like nostalgia for that too, of like or something. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I think it's fun and neat. I think people just take it for what it is. You know, it doesn't need to be this like big thing. It's not this like juice or stonk opportunity or anything like that. It's not gonna like change your collection, but it's just a fun thing to do.
Yeah. I think it's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and we have Scarlet and Violet coming out like in the holiday too, so like Pokemon's gonna be everywhere, and like it's dude, this holiday's gonna be so great.
Yeah,
so great.
I mean,
I know this goes back to the other episode we had where we talked about how crazy the holiday season is gonna be.
Yeah, and just how crazy Pokemon is getting with collaborations and stuff. So their logo and brand is partnering with everybody, it seems, and it's going to be Pokemon galore.
I have one more for you before we do Blips and Bleps. I didn't tell you about this beforehand because I just want your opinion. It's short and sweet. When they announced, did you see the video game trailer stuff that they did at Worlds? Like the little stuff about the new item, and they showed a couple new Pokemon in it. Did you see any of that?
A little bit of it, yeah.
Okay. Even if you didn't, what you didn't see, what I think everyone wanted to see, were the evolutions of the starters. I thought that would have been the perfect time, man, to drive hype. Like, can you imagine how big the hype was? But they probably want to do it closer to release.
Yeah.
Were you bummed, though? I wanted it. I was sure. I told my wife, I was like, we are getting these today. I am so hyped. Like, they did not come.
I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't see it.
Dang. No. Well, I was disappointed. For everyone else out there, if you were disappointed, give me a hashtag disappoint in the
I gotta
in the
step
chat.
up
But I was disappointed, but now I'll get to be excited later. I'll get to be excited probably here in a month or so.
It's going to make that decision to pick your starter in the game much harder.
What if they didn't release them?
That would make it. That
would be crazy. They would get leaked before. There's no way. Yeah. I'm surprised we've went this long without the leaks, to be honest with you. Like, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I know a bunch of stuff from the games has been leaked out, but I'm more surprised that like what the starters look like or like their evolutions like have not been leaked.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see the evolution lines. I'm ready for it. Hit us with it, Pokemon. Hit us with that sauce. Woo!
All right. Let's get into.
All right, Radar's ready. You can tell he's itching.
I'm
itching
so
to
hungry, dude.
Clickbait me out. He always has to have the best clickbait for.
I think I got a couple.
Oh, he thinks he's got a couple. Look at him prepping. This is Blips and Bleps. This is, for most of you, your favorite segment where Radar and I will both give our 3 hot takes or 3 blips and bleps for the day. The caveat, we are not allowed to respond to each other, argue about them, or anything in the fashion. In fact, if you want to hear more about them, you have to vote down in the comments section below which one of these is your favorite that you want to hear the most about. In addition, while you're leaving that comment, you should hit that like button and hit the little notification bell. Smash that like button. Yeah. We got to be YouTubers here. So make sure to do that, but definitely leave your comment down there. We do add them up. And while we didn't touch on it today, it was pretty close. Serial cards last week and Fusion Strike being the best set were like very close in the running. So luckily for you all, next week's episode is going to cover both of those and kind of a broader topic around those. So we decided to hold it for next week. So don't worry, we didn't forget. We just felt it would go really well with the topic that we're talking about, and that way you guys don't kind of hear overlap. So start us off. Hit us with your first blip.
All right, let me pull up my phone here. All right, with the EX coming back, I see an Evolutions 2 coming.
I have many questions. Okay. All right. Promos, and this kind of talks about our topic that we had today. Promos like Special Delivery Charizard will become the norm for big promo releases in the future.
Okay. We didn't touch on this during this episode, or this topic, but Ken Sugimori will do another signing.
Ooh, yeah, you're going to win on that one.
Yeah, that was a juicer.
Yeah. Team Rocket, in the theme of EX era returning, Team Rocket Returns is the best EX era set.
The new Scarlet and Violet legendary Pokemon that are motorcycles will be made into a real thing.
Like drivable motorcycles?
Yeah.
All right. And finally, the last blep of the day, the Nintendo Switch 2 will get announced next summer, 2020. And I can even defend it. So, with that, those are your blips and bleps. Again, don't forget to leave a comment down below of which one you want to hear more about on next week's or maybe the week's after episode. And with that, that is our episode of Collectible Conversations. We appreciate you all hanging out and taking the time to watch this log into the video. As always, make sure to leave a comment, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. And with that, this has been Squeaks and Radar, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.